Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the semifinals of the first weekly of the Eternal Tournament Series, Season 3. We are about to jump into game here with Mesmerizer on Stone Scar Aggro versus Marius on aReNGee Blue. Take it away, Rhino.
All right, well, we've got Mesmerizing shipping a hand with a very nice curve. It had Oni Ronin into Outlaw, and maybe that's just Mesmerizer being kind of scared of the fact that aReNGee Blue runs Lightning Storm. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to bridge this mid game if all of my units die. But as we see from Marius, not a whole lot of Lightning Storms to be had in that hand. Mostly just your top end finishers. This Throne Warden might have a lot asked of him in this matchup.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to be correct there. We don't have a lot going on. At least based on Marius's current hand, he will be able to get the Wisdom off next turn. But that's not stopping all this early pressure. And Mesmerizer with 2 rapid shots in hand.
Well, ask for something to stop the early pressure. You might not get Lightning Storm, but we do get the other new promo card that's being played in Marius's deck and really enabling aReNGee Blue to have a resurgence in this tournament, and that is Borderlands Waykeeper, the old 1/3 Aegis. Can't be torched, still dies to rapid shot.
Yeah, and we do see it holding down quite well here, even though it will eat this rapid shot. Nice block out of Marius.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take out the Warcry. Maybe it was because he wanted the Warcry, but it was a nice block around rapid shot anyway. That way he didn't get blown out by the overwhelm on the Pirate Knight.
All right, well, there is the there's a Harsh Rule and the Lightning Storm. For your Mesmerizer, do you consider using rapid shot to get in the damage? It's probably a little premature to do that. They haven't had Lightning Storm up to that point. Why would you play it now?
I honestly think I might have there, but I don't know if it changes your math too much, particularly. Yeah, because it put them at 13, which was a little
one
awkward.
off of Obliterate Lethal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Is I was trying to count it out, and yeah, he would have been 1 short. So I think Mesmerizer decided based on that to hold it. And
now Marius gets to turn the corner.
Yeah,
4/4 Aegis doesn't die to Obliterate unless Mesmerizer chooses to use a rapid shot on it first, and also gains 4. And boy, what do you do as Stone Scar Burn here? Your opponent's at 21, and you have no board presence, and you can't kill their units. That's not a fun position to be in.
Interestingly enough here, too, if Mesmerizer doesn't actually choose for the rapid shot Obliterate line, or at least the Obliterate here, I kind of like this because this die show would have been absolutely killer as a 4/8. That would have just been too much pressure for him to have dealt with. As it stands, though, the second Throne Warden providing an extra 4 armor, gonna force that second Obliterate out, and all of a sudden, Mesmerizer's on a real clock with 8 damage on the board.
Yeah, that Lightning Storm into Throne Warden stabilization. Throne Warden's giving aReNGee Blue and a lot of other armory decks that burst of life and board presence that sorely lacked for a long time. We saw a lot of decks resorting to stuff like Stronghold's Visage to try and gain life. And this card's like Stronghold's Visage, except almost better in every way possible in terms of racing a deck that's trying to control the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Having those units on board is just so key. And like we see that right here. I mean, 2 4/4s, and not only 4/4s, but I just 4/4s. So they're even harder to deal with. And I'm pretty sure Marius is just going to close this game out right here. He's going to put 16 damage on, like, the units themselves are going to be lethal. Never mind the die show that's going to be on top of him next turn too. And I can't think of a single draw Mesmerizer is going to have here that's going to pull him out of this hole.
There is not a card in at least Mesmerizer's deck that gets him out of this mess. There might have been a card in the game, but certainly not in his deck, and he's going to scoop it up there. So we're going to go to game 2, which we will not sideboard. Hopefully, I think the players are aware of it now, considering this is the semifinals.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, the challenge will be sent out pretty quick.
Yeah, well, and I think it's interesting when you're talking about Throne Warden occupying the it kind of is occupying the slot that Stronghold Visage would have in some decks, and it does just do its job a lot better. Not only being a unit and causing a threat, but it does round out a deck like aReNGee Blue really nicely. Whereas I feel like they've always been lacking a little in the 5 slot outside of obviously your Harsh Rule.
Yeah, Harsh Rule and weapons and stuff. But yeah, it's gaining 4 armor in certain decks is a lot better than gaining for life. That's for sure. And this deck's demonstrating that. All right, so we're in game 2 here, and oh man, Mesmerize has got some choices. But when your deck only knows A space, I think you've just got a space.
And did I think he did. I didn't notice this because it was so quick, but Marius kept a 1 lander. He kept 1 power.
Yeah, 1 power with a Seek. And gets there anyways.
Yeah, exactly. He's just gonna obliterate his opponent here.
The problem is Mesmerizer's got those magical champions. And Marius doesn't have any clean answers for that anytime soon. So while that lightning storm was nice, this might be a bit tougher here to stab off.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a lot tougher here. If he can pick up another power next turn, that's going to be key to allow him to go ahead and Sword of Ikaria plus Torch down on one of them. But that is only handling one of them. And with the seat pick up by Mesmerizer, that's going to turn both these champions online. This is going to be a lot of damn Marius. He's going to be able to clean up the 6/6 next turn, but with Impending Doom and Obliterate to follow.
Well, he's not cleaning up anything here. Inspire is not what you want to see here. And Vanquish is okay. All right. Well, Mary's at least holding on here, getting rid of one of the champs. That's something.
Oh, and Mesmerizer picking up the double Obliterate. And Marius missing the power last turn means that there's going to be no harsh rule this turn, which means with this Impending Doom down, once again, Marius is going to find himself in a position with 2 very big units to deal with and no good answers.
Yeah, desperately needs an undepleted power here and gets it, so he can at least deal with one of these threats. The problem is you're taking damage in the process. You're taking a bunch of damage because you're using a sword on a unit, and the other one's still around.
Yeah,
have a clean answer to that.
I think this is just game, honestly, Rhino. Like I think I think that is game. That's lethal by all accounts. yeah. With the Obliterate to follow, I think that's gonna be game because this is only gonna soak 1. He's gonna push 9, but the extra 6 off Obliterate will follow. So Mesmerizer responding in very quick fashion, which is what we would have expected out of the Stonescar deck.
Yeah, we are a 1-1 split pre-board. Now we get to go to post-board games, but notably, one of these players doesn't have a sideboard.
Yeah, it is a very interesting day when a control deck comes to the Eternal Tournament Series. Does extremely well. Marius was 5-1 through Swiss. Wins his first top 8 matchup and doesn't actually have a sideboard in his deck. He's been doing it all off the back of his main board, putting in a lot of work. So you can chalk that up partly to a very good deck construction. But
yeah, it could just be good decks and naturally good matchups, but not having a sideboard. I mean, he's got 0 permafrost in his entire 90 when you have access to it. That's kind of insane to me. Or like only 3 Vanquish. You don't want to force Vanquish access somewhere. I don't approve of this. I mean,
yeah, it's a little silly to say the least. But I mean, the results speak for themselves. He has at least managed to make it this far. So clearly, it has worked out for him. But I definitely think when we see him, hopefully next week in the tournament series, I hope that this deck has a sideboard to go with it. There are definitely some cards he could swap around in matchups like this.
Yeah, I love that the player identified Ikaria Blue as a deck that got a lot stronger with these 2 new cards that could help with its bad matchups. I mean, that was a brilliant call, but come on. I mean, I know I get a lot out of my sideboards, but so it's an intimidating thing. Maybe they don't know how to. They didn't work themselves up to it yet, but I guess we've got a match in front of us that we should commentate on.
Yeah, and we actually did see something interesting on Mesmerizer. He ended up, I think that was a mulligan, and he mulliganed into double Shadow Sigils, but picked a Dip Seal right off the top of the deck to give him his Fire Influence, and then picked up a Stonescar Banner to follow, so he's going to be able to hit his influence requirements across the deck. Marius, on the other hand, just content to respond and slow this game down a bit, but Mesmerizer is definitely going to try and put some pressure on here as we approach turn 4 and these 2 Impending Dooms in hand.
Marius has 2 uncastable Wisdoms and a 6 and a 7 drop, so not a good spot to be when you're staring down the the aggressive start that Mesmerizer has here. Pending Dooms are coming, and Marius again in a spot where it looks like they're kind of behind and need a lot of help off the top of the deck. We'll see if they can get it. Lightning Storm, not gonna do it.
Yeah, Lightning Storm, unfortunately, not quite the card you were looking for there. So Marius is going to take 8, and he's already on a 2-turn clock. And if the second Impending Doom comes down, he actually is on just a 1-turn clock.
Yeah, so Mesmerizer's thinking about how much do I want to commit to this board in the face of a deck running Harsh Rule. I think I'm okay with playing another Impending Doom here. It just kind of seals up the game for you. And you've got another one to follow up. But we can also, I have the benefit of seeing, the opponent's hand. He hedges and goes with the 2/2 instead. And I think that's also fine. It does put you 1 off lethal next.
Yeah, that's kind of my it's kind of my feeling on playing the 2/2 there is I liked one of the 2 lines of play. I either liked not playing anything at all, or I liked playing Impending Doom. I kind of didn't like that he took the middle road as much, just because I would have liked to have seen him have lethal this turn. But we do see him beating down very heavily here, and just decides to pass again, recognizing that Harsh Rule is a card in Marius's deck, and it is something he needs to be afraid of. And Marius going to be able to at least stay alive for 1 more turn.
Unless the burn deck draws one of those burn spells they're known for.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't, I have to imagine this is going to be a very hard fought battle for Marius. I think I'm not even sure what he needs to hit here. I think he's going to need to pick up like a Primal Sigil into a Wisdom into 2 Miracle cards. And Torch...
Yeah, Torch is not going to do it. Torch is definitely not going to do it.
Torch was one of the 2 Miracle cards he needed, but not exactly what he needed.
Yeah, he could have also Harsh Ruled and hoped to fade burn spells for a while, but that wasn't really going to help either.
Yeah, I think those were his 2 outs. Was either pick up Power and Wisdom into exactly Vanquish Torch, or pick up a Harsh Rule and fire it off. But not finding either of those means that he is going to, unfortunately, lose that game to Mesmerizer. So Mesmerizer up 2-1 now, going into our 4th game. Yes, second post-board game. And 4 Madnesses in for Mesmerizer.
They came in?
I think so.
All of your opponent's units have Aegis. Boy, that's bold.
That's certainly bold. I was considering that too. I was like, well, the best unit I would want to take is Ikaria, but I can't take Ikaria, at least not naturally. It would definitely take a lot of effort. So,
well, maybe they know something that we don't know about Madness in this matchup.
Yeah, maybe I took a little bit. Maybe I didn't take enough of a look at the list. And Mesmerizer, with a kind of awkward hand. Like, not only is he a little slow on units, but he's also has completely depleted power. And he should actually fire off the Monument or the Banner here. I have to imagine he would want to go with the Banner to start.
I'm fine when you have a split of seats to just play one of the seats and then hold on to the Banner. Monument's just kind of really valuable in this matchup, just as far as having a charge in it, but you may have to bite the bullet and actually play the Monument here. Now that you missed on power again, it's just better to make sure you hit your Impending Dooms on time.
Yeah, certainly. Do you play Banner or Seat in this situation? This is an interesting question.
That really depends on like the deck and the construction of it all. I would probably go, I don't know what their sigil count is, but I would probably go Seat here. If you draw a sigil, you get to play your champion anyways. I think Monuments is probably the best choice here. But if you draw a sigil, you get to play champion anyways, regardless if you held the seat or not. And Stone Scar Banner, will be a relatively reliable 4th or 5th power once you get your champion of Chaos down. So I think if I had to choose between Seat or Banner, I would have went Seat, but I think Monument's the prudent pick there.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it's a very interesting insight. I like to see how people pick when to play Seats versus Banners. I think I would have played a Banner there, but I think that's just generally how I play decks too. So I like to get a little bit of insight from players I consider to be very good and see where they feel like the split lies, how you should fall.
Right. So Marius has has some rules and is really planning on getting a 5th power, just immediately tutoring up the Throne Warden with that Rise to the Challenge.
Yeah, and if Mesmerizer puts this impending doom down, which he does, if Marius can pick up power off the top, he's mousing for it. He's praying. Let's see. And kind of power.
Yeah, an interesting part of Marius's build here is that they play no banners at all, so they really do cut down on how much depleted power is in their deck. It's just the 12 seats and the Seek powers in that scenario that would have been depleted. But at least they got power. That's certainly useful. But they're gonna take a beating for it in the meantime. And now Mesmerizer posed with this spot of, is there a reason for me to commit more to this board state? I've already got lethal in play. Even if one of them dies, I've got double torch. So I don't expect him to play any units here. But yeah, maybe they go for it.
Nah, I definitely think, given what you just said, yeah, I don't think you can play units here. I don't think it would be a smart idea anyway.
Well, you certainly power to.
But, yeah, you certainly
they choose not to.
Yeah. Sorry. You certainly can play units here. You are not bound by the rules, but
Marius doesn't even bother to use the Seek power he drew off the top before casting Harsh Rule. We'll see if that comes back to bite him. I doubt it will, but
yeah, that slight mistake there out of Marius, but unfortunately, I have a feeling it may not matter.
Yeah, he's got a buffs anyways. It means this Seat of Glory will sit in his hand. Oh, that means that could hurt.
Yeah.
Well, he gets to play the Seat here anyways. It's not a big deal. It's more of a question of, do you play Warden or a Harsh Rule here, or how do you approach this?
I feel like your situation is you have to drop the Throne here. Like, I think you have to accept that you're just going to lose one life this turn. Yeah, you need something down the board for pressure, and you need that Harsh Rule as backup, because now the second impending doom is going to be unanswered.
You torch face here and try and top deck undepleted power, or save torch. Yeah, you torch face.
Yeah, I like torch face here. I like torch face and go for the win.
All right, doesn't get it. Plays another impending doom. Hold up another torch.
Yeah.
Marius is on the ropes. Could get there.
I think that's probably going to do it for him, though. I don't think he has 11. A way out of this game.
Yeah, 5 plus 6 is definitely 11. So I don't see a way Marius gets out of here either. Can agree with that.
Yeah, like I was hoping maybe there was like some sort of dice show play, but that unfortunately still only puts him at 11. So
yeah, both ways you're gaining 4 armor. One way deals with the threat. Well, no, I guess. Yeah.
This would,
but it's still hitting you. So
yeah, exactly. This would be the correct line, but unfortunately, it's not going to matter anyway, because we do see the obliterate in Mesmerizer's hand. So
yeah. So Marius getting kind of daggered. That Harshal showed up one turn too late to making this a bit more of a closer game, right? It's just there's a big difference between 4 power and 5 power, and depleted power and not depleted power, and that game kind of demonstrated it there.
Yeah, and what happened in both those games, I felt like, was that Stone Scar just kind of got under the Ikaria Blue deck, and the Ikaria Blue just didn't have its answers on, like you were saying, with the undepleted power, or just not having power in general,
or not having access to any permafrosts or a 4th Vanquish.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that they would have helped significantly.
Yeah, I think Vanquish could have been a useful card there.
I think Permafrost is a huge card in Stone Scar anyway. Like, Stone Scar has very little way, if any way, to deal with a Permafrost.
Right.
And it can just be so detrimental to some of their units. And especially Umbran Reaper. Like, Umbran Reapers and Soulfire Drakes are getting locked down by Permafrost feels super bad on an Umbran Reaper. It'll force you to kill your own Umbran Reaper eventually, which could win you the game, but
it can be a little worse because you're running Lightning Storm and Harsh Rule, but yeah, still the point remains. Permafrost may not always be a permanent solution, but against Stone Scar it basically is. A lot of times when I'm building Feln-based control decks or Feln Scar decks or whatever, how many Permafrost that I play is directly correlated to how much Champion of Chaos do I expect to see today. That's really it's the cleanest answer you can really get for it in the game.
Yeah, that's no joke there. Champion of Chaos is a problem. And definitely, I don't think they were in that deck, but had Marius gone up against somebody like Platy, for example, Permafrost is really important when your opponent is using cards like Dark Return. When they have any type of Void return strategy, locking the units to the board and just not letting them leave is a lot better than actually removing them.
Now, I thought